All right. Okay, I think we are live now. Let's just see if anyone joins on. I'm going to just post this link around quickly. No, let's not quit that. That would be silly. All right. I've got a viewer, and I don't know if it's me or if it's one of you. But yeah, say hi in the chat if you can hear me and all that good stuff. There's a link in Discord. And yeah. Just get my phone real quick, one sec. Alright, I'll wait till a couple more people come on, then I'll get started. Let's pop out this chat. Aha! Callie is in the house. Sweet. Well, if Pascal is here, may as well get started already. Oh, okay, we've got 3 people. More people joining slowly rolling in. That's good. Alright, let me minimize that. And yeah, just open up Logic as well. Alright, give me 1 second. Just make sure Logic is audible as well. Discord chat as well. Just get this over here quickly. Yeah, boy. Alrighty then. How are you doing, Pascal? How's your day been, sir? Okay, multi-output device. I think that should be good to go. Let's just throw in a break or something and see if it works. Just test the audio, you know? Date. Let's go for a... Ooh. Let's get a kick in there. All right. Can you hear the audio? That's the main thing. I think you should be able to hear that. Yeah, it should be fine. All right. Chilled time is over. Yeah. Why doesn't the boss just stay on vacation? That's my question. On the beers tonight or drinking anything? I'm having a Atlantic Ale Stortebeker, which is really, really nice. And yeah, I'm going to be quitting alcohol for August, so may as well have a couple more beers before that happens. Anyway, but now I'm super relaxed, made a fish in the oven, and now I'm eating while listening to you. I really advise people to listen to me while they eat fish. It's just going to be better for both of us, really. So yeah, brilliant. Anyway, no one else is saying hi yet, but I think there might be some other people watching, the shy ones. So hello to the shy ones. Let's get straight into... I haven't done one of these for a while. I'm slightly on edge. I need to have another beer. Another sip of my beer. Right. Okay. So I've got a couple of things I want to talk about today to demystify some music production kind of stuff. And okay, enjoy your coffee then, mate. Yeah, what I actually want to do, because I asked my Discord group to send in 10 questions for me to answer for like a Q&A session, And you guys can also ask some questions in the chat now as well if you like. Big ups No Comply in the house. Yeah, No Comply, Chris. He actually suggested something really cool, and he said, "What 5 things would I tell baby Artifact if I had the chance to go back in time about music production that would just speed up the process of getting better and getting." I think you said how to get a really clean, fat and heavy mix down. Thank you that you think that my tunes do that. That's very, very much appreciated. I still feel like I'm still learning as well. So, yeah, like I'm pretty happy with where I am with my mix down skills, but I think there's always room to improve a little bit more. But yeah, so I've thought of like the 5 first things that came to my mind pretty like quickly and easily. So yeah, might as well just go with my first kind of ideas that popped into my head, right? Yeah, so the first tip that I would go and tell baby Artifact again would be to not wait to invest in yourself when it comes to like equipment, because I think that you can get like so far with just the plugins in a specific software. Like I would not really say that you need to buy any plugins. Like you could do everything just in Ableton, or you could do everything just in Logic. Like when I switched over to my newest like Mac Mini and Catalina, and I had like none of my old plugins worked. Like I was kind of already at that point where like I didn't really care, because you can even just get like a few free plugins that like do the job. At the end of the day, we're like, this isn't even my first point, by the way. The first point is don't wait to invest in yourself. And I'm talking about PC, headphones, and monitors. Like, those 3 things. Like, I used to be like, let's just get by and do what we can with, like, what we have. And I was a bit, like, worried about spending too much money on things that, I could have spent more money on it, but I didn't for ages. And I wish I would have just spent more money right at the beginning. I've taken out a loan even if I didn't have the money. If you want to take it seriously, if you want to get good, put the money in at the beginning into the processing power of your computer, because that's the number one thing that held me back. Like for years, my Logic would crash all the time, and I'd be like on the edge. I'd be riding the edge of the CPU like all the time. And it was just like, I don't know how I put up with it for so long, but I just did. And it was just like wasting so much time, because projects kept crashing, kept having to reopen it, kept glitching out and all that stuff. And if I was worried about spending like loads of money on a better like computer or laptop. I didn't have much money, but I mean, I could have just got a loan or something. And I would advise baby Artifact to do that, to spend more money investing into like the proper gear. So not only the PC or Mac or whatever, like just processing power, so your project can handle like a lot of elements and a lot of layers. That's like the number one thing I would go for, like spend money on, so you've got that fast CPU. So yeah, that's something I didn't do for ages. Then headphones, I would spend as much money as I possibly could. Like these ones, I don't think I could find a better pair. I don't think I'd upgrade to anything above this Audeze LCD 2C. What is it? Yeah, the Audeze LCD 2C. They are like proper expensive. But there's like more expensive ones out there. I've watched videos and stuff. I don't think that I would spend more money than these ones to get a better pair. Like I think this is pretty much like the optimum headphone for production. I wish I had them earlier. I used to spend loads of time before making music on other headphones. Always open back though, because like open back headphones are just way more detailed. Like you can do a good mix down and you can get really far with closed back headphones, but like there's just no denying the fact that open back headphones like provide you with more detail. So if you're still like in the process of training your ears, like you should just get open back headphones because they have more detail. Yeah, maybe they don't have as much low end like bass in them, but that low end bass in the headphones is like it's not actually real. It's like you're squashing the bass into your head a bit too much. So it's like exaggerating the low end in like an unnatural way. Essentially, it won't always translate on a system. And yeah, you can kind of get a rough idea just using the level on like a span, you know. My mouse has gone all funny, like it doesn't really react properly anymore. What was I saying? On a span, yeah, over 2K. It's like I paid something like 500 or 600 pounds for these Order Z LCD2, like on offer through like a bit of a discount kind of thing. Yeah, I wouldn't really say that you need to spend more than that, but I think if you don't have enough money for these, then maybe like the Bayer Dynamic 990s or whatever they are, the open back ones. I've never used them, but I just know people that have done good mixes on them. But yeah, I guess whatever you feel comfortable with. But I would tell myself when I was younger again, like get a decent computer and get the Order Z headphones and just stop messing around and just pay all the money for it. Yeah, if you want to take it seriously. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, like even though they don't have as much bass, like the sub, you can kind of just judge it like on here, you know, as well. So let's like throw in like a sub bass quickly. And you know, something I always tell like students and stuff is like I don't have a MIDI keyboard anymore, which is really annoying. Like you want to get that sub bass, you know, somewhere around there, like between that sort of -30 and -36, and like you can hear it on these headphones, but the feeling of it, like you don't necessarily have. But just knowing that that's the sort of rough level to go for, and then sort of building the rest of your track above, like using that knowledge that that's the kind of right level, like that's pretty much the best way to go about it, you know, just like still sticking with the open back headphones, because then you've got the detail in like the rest of the whole spectrum. It's just gonna be way better on these because they're open back. You get a bigger sound stage. It's like a bigger canvas to like pick things out from and like put things in their place properly. And yeah, the other thing was in this first point still was monitors, like having like decent monitors. For me, I don't really need like an expensive pair of monitors because I've got the headphones that provide all the detail. I just want big monitors that can just show me what happens if it was to be like played on like a big system, and like just highlight the kind of really low bass areas that these guys can't quite reproduce. So you know, just using the monitors like for the bass and for the low end, just so you can like have a reference point between the two. I think always you need both to get the best mix down, unless you're like a nutter. Yeah, but yeah, generally humans with ears, you just might as well have both. But yeah, that's the first thing I would go back and tell Baby Artifact. Just invest more money into the right equipment, and that doesn't mean plugins. It means hardware stuff. Just the most important things, you know. Yeah. Next point. Yeah, filling out the frequencies in the right way is like the most important thing for like a good mix down. Like I would just guess, or you know, use my ears and not pay attention to like where everything's sitting in the frequency spectrum, because you have to always imagine that it's like a room of sound, you know, and you know, where are we going to fill up like certain parts of the room with what sound. So having everything in its own place, like it's pretty basic knowledge, but like it's really like you just have to do that. Like if you're not doing it and not paying like close attention and being like mathematical about what you're placing where and why, then you're just going to struggle with the mix down. Like you're just trying to guess and get it right, and that just doesn't really work. So like let's put in a sub here anyway. So, thrown in a little bit of a sub bass here. Let's just loop this a second. Yeah, I like that. Let's just copy the kicks over. Yeah, please feel free to ask questions because yeah, I'm going to be on here for like another hour or a bit longer. So just ask loads of questions and I'll answer all of them in the chat. Any tips for train the ears to hear which frequencies are lacking of power? Yeah, definitely. So something I would do then in that case would be, you know, you can just put an EQ on your master. And just like just make a nice bell, and just sweep around and like boost something, and you can tell when you boost something it sounds good or it doesn't. It just either works or it doesn't, basically. So yeah, just sweep around and you can just find stuff on your master channel that where it's lacking and just boost that. It's pretty simple. But yeah, like in general, when we look at the span, you know, I kind of want that sub bass up here, and then I just want to be filling out a lot of the rest of the spectrum, really, like sort of around this 30 to 36. Like this is, we've just got a kick and a sub in here and a little percussion, so we haven't got many sounds in yet, but we're going to be filling up the whole area. We want like a nice big full room of sound, because that's like the immersive experience that you have then. But yeah, if I go back to my notes, yeah, filling out frequencies the right way. So, you know, filling up this room of sound with everything in its rightful place. You know, there's no hard and fast rule of where exactly the kick needs to be, where exactly the snare needs to be, but you must make sure that you are dedicating a certain area, you know, for each individual element. And if they are overlapping in the same area, that's fine. You just need to have a beer and then... No, if they are overlapping, then you just need to like heavily sidechain them, or just figure out in the arrangement where you can get them to not overlap with each other, especially in the low end. So everything has its own place at the particular time, you know, of milliseconds or seconds, or in the next loop or whatever. You know, you can switch things around, but it's just at that specific moment, one specific moment in the song, you got to have everything, you know, in its separate place, so that you get the clarity between everything, you know? Any tips for try? Yeah, I already read that one. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, filling out the frequencies in the right way. Just being a bit mathematical about it and a bit like surgical doing that, you know? I wish I'd done that earlier. I wish I'd just not just been guessing and like hoping that it kind of fits together. I wish I was just more, yeah, more just cognizant of that. Just yeah, I don't have to like look at span the whole time. I just need to always be thinking about that and knowing that everything needs its own space individually. Yeah, sweet. So next one, next tip I would tell Baby Artifact would be over processing stuff too much and over layering stuff too much. I used to spend like ages and ages making this long processing chain on like my bass or something, and I would have like 20 or 25. If you listen to Consumed, like I don't have the project file anymore, I don't think, but yeah, this one, let's hope YouTube doesn't like take this down because I'm playing something off Spotify, but like that bass sound in there, I spent ages post-processing it. It had so many like plugins on it. It was just like absolutely pointless, really, because I kept the next plugin kept trying to fix the problem that I created with the previous plugin, and just constantly over processing it. And you just don't need to do that. It's all about like having the right sound in the first place. Like if you've got a decent bass design in the synth already, like now with Vital it's like easy to get something like really, really interesting like in the synth and not even have to post process it like hardly at all. So yeah, like I would just say to Baby Artifact, like, stop over processing everything and thinking you're going to make it better, because essentially the more you process a sound, the worse you're going to make it in some kind of way. Like in one way it does like degrade the sound if you keep like processing and processing. So just find the right sounds to begin with, or synthesize the correct sound to begin with. Yeah, I can imagine YouTube just copyright striking me for playing my own song. It's just something they probably do. Yeah, and so to go akin to that with the over processing, this again makes me just like, you don't need that many plugins. Just choose the right sound to begin with and use it in the right way, and then you don't need to spend hours and hours resampling. Over layering. Like I used to layer kicks and snares. I used to find like the 4 fattest, heaviest kicks and snares and just like bosh them all together and just hope it works. The reason why it's so stupid is because, again, when you go back to filling out the frequencies in the right way, you know, why are you trying to put 4 low end snares together? What are you doing? Why are you trying to put 4 low end kicks together? It's just a sine wave. It's a kick and a snare. They just have like this body in the low end, which is a sine wave. It's just one of them, and then yeah, let's layer the top of it. Let's make the top of it a bit more interesting. You know, give it a clap or a rim shot, or spread it out or something like that. But like, still, some students still like, try and smash like 4 or 5 massive kicks together, and it's just counterintuitive because a kick down here is a sine wave. You can't defeat the sine wave, like, no matter how hard you try. So when you try and just put a load of different low end kicks together, you're just gonna phase them out, and it's just a hassle. It's just a hassle. Just keep it simple. Sine wave, white noise. There you go. Yeah, so I would tell Baby Artifact that just stop layering bunches of kicks and snares together and hoping they're going to create some uber snare or kick, because they just won't. Just use one clean fat kick for the low end, one clean fat snare for the low end, and be a bit creative in the high end, 800, 1k up. Yeah. So moving on from that, I would say then another thing I would tell myself not to do, which I used to do all the time, is don't mix into a limiter, because I used to have it's like the isotope ozone, or the Fab Filter Pro L or something, and I thought I could cheat by making my mixes really loud and crispy and punchy by having the limiter with like a threshold. If I just demonstrate, there's a limiter here somewhere, isn't there? Dynamics limiter, yeah. Yeah, I've never used this one, but I would, really rag the threshold so that I could feel like the track is just like so much more louder than it is, and then I would mix like into that. And I've been thinking of a way to like to like a simile or analogy to explain, what that is similar to doing, like in another way, so that you can like visualize why it would be wrong. But I can't think of one. So basically, it's like you're just limiting, excuse the pun, yourself to that limiter. So that limiter is controlling, the way that everything is affected in your mix, like the way the little sounds are brought up a lot more in volume than some of the other little sounds, the things that are going on in the background that are just going to be like massively affected by the limiter in one particular way or another. You're constraining yourself to what that limiter is going to do to everything, and you're just trying to make it louder, and you don't need to do that. You just need to realize that there are a certain amount of frequencies in a song, and you know how how high is the volume at each particular frequency, and get it right and use the right sounds and push them up, and then that can be enough. You don't need to limit anything. You just need to figure out the mix down. So when I like go on to master like my own tracks and stuff, there's like basically nothing left to do. Everything's just mixed to like 0 as best as I can, and then there's like nothing left to really do. So yeah, it's easy. Just don't, you know, you don't have to smash a limiter on it. And something I always used to do. So yeah, I would just go back and tell myself, stop trying to shortcut things. Use the right sounds and put them at the right volume, and then it's going to be fine. Yeah, so that's that. That's number 4. And then the 5th one is write music that you would listen to. Like, this is a bit of a different one, not just a like specific mixing kind of tip, but yeah, like why are you finishing or writing a song that you're not really enjoying? Because I've done that before. I've worked really hard on like one particular song, and then I've like not like been able to really like enjoy it for some reason. I just wasn't like that into it, but I felt like I had to finish it. But you just need to like rethink why you're actually making that song, and make sure you're actually enjoying it. Like, you notice when you're writing a song that you're like, you know, like you're proper bop into it, or like you're just loving it, or you're just liking the vibe of it. And if you're not really loving it, then you just need to go back and like reboot the PlayStation and like put a different CD in, and just make sure that, you know, people can feel that you've like made the track your own, that you've expressed it in a way that you want and the way that you like it. So don't make something just for the sake of it. So you need to get a bit of soul searching sometimes to like discover what it is that turns you on about making like a particular song, and like do that. So don't just make songs for the sake of it, because then you will just get bored of it and you won't really be enjoying it. And yeah, I would say like, yeah, spend more time thinking a bit deeply about, you know, what specific song you want to make, so that you are really enjoying it and really happy to work on it and share it. Don't just make stuff just for the sake of it. So yeah, that's my other thing, because I used to do that sometimes. I would just like feel like I had to finish this song because I'd spent so long on it, but I didn't really like it, and I never played it out, and I don't want to play it out. And it's like, what was the point in doing that actually? Like, try to make something that you really like and that you really want to play out as well. Yeah. So, those are my kind of 5 things that I wish I knew earlier. And yeah, feel free to ask some more questions as well. But we have got 5 more questions, which were in the Discord already. And the first one was from Callie, which was drum processing. How to like process all of your drums. So it's like a unit, essentially. And for me, I still kind of go back to like, just you're choosing the right sounds again. It's like choosing the sounds that fit together. You know, if you're using like a break, then it's obviously working together, isn't it, already? Because it's like that break has got the character that just works. You know, everything is already gelled together. So if you're like, I don't like to use just a break because I want to control the kicks and snares and everything else separately. So like, if I'm going to do that, then I just want to, and I'm using like individual loops or individual hits and samples. I already want to, in the beginning, decide, you know, that they fit with each other texturally, like the timbre of them already fit. So I don't need to like really over process the whole group to get them to like sound good together, because I'm just choosing ones that where the timbre kind of just works. And you kind of get a bit more used to it over time, like when you train your ears a bit more and you're like listening to samples and stuff, and you just kind of start to figure out, you know, what you like about a particular, like for example, a hat loop or. Good sounding drum samples. Yeah, there's so many. Like, I've got so many producer packs and stuff. I have not downloaded any samples for like so long. Yeah, like Lout samples are really good and cheap. But you're probably better off just going on Splice or something and finding good ones on there if you don't have many. I'm quite fortunate. I don't feel like I ever need a new sample, like, because I've just got so many. I haven't even listened to them all yet. So, and I always find something that fits. Like, there's only so many like hats that you can really find, or so many snares, or yeah, and yeah. So when we're talking about drum processing, you know, we need to be thinking more about the selection of the individual drums, the individual samples. And making sure they fit together already, like with the timbre and the groove. Like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there. Maybe let's get like a ride in as well. Something a bit. Yeah. Something like that. And let's try to, with every new layer, let's try to make it a creative addition. So let's fill out the frequency spectrum of the sound. Let's fill out the frequencies in our overall mix, you know, by selecting the right samples. Like, let's use a ride to fill out the high end. Let's use a chugging hat loop to give this kind of crunchy treble area here. Let's find some bongos or some kind of other cool percussion to give a bit of like mid-range expressiveness, like down here. You know, let's use a really, really heavy kick with the sine wave that's nice and tight, and a snare with a nice sine wave that's nice and tight, and a lot of like noise on top, so it's really cutting through the mix. You know, let's grab it. We'll grab a snare in a minute as well. But yeah, we're thinking about adding in our elements to our drum group in such a way that they already just sound good. They already kind of work together, because we're just using our ears to find ones that fit with each other. And then when it comes to then the processing at the end, you know, we don't really need to like do some massive crazy thing to get it all to like gel together, because we're just being clever with the ones that we use at the beginning. And then once we're being clever like that, then we can just put some kind of like, you know, just a bit of saturation or something, like the free DNB Production wave shaper. On the asymmetric setting, just to kind of square out the sound a bit and just give it, you know, give everything a little bit of a push. Just mix that in a bit. I mean, what more do you need? You know, you choose the right samples, they're sitting in the right areas, you're choosing the right sounds, get the volumes up there, and then let's just not over-process stuff. Let's just saturate it a little bit. You know, I don't want to compress it, because that's kind of just going to, you know, make it a bit smaller in a way. So I'm just going to sort of keep it rolling how it is. And then, you know, just fill out with a couple more elements. But I'm already kind of liking the start of that beat. Like, I would just go on to just keep creating, keep adding some more stuff in. Just the right things, you know. So yeah, let's not go crazy on the drum processing. You know, let's just use a bit of distortion, a bit of saturation. Maybe we could try like some analog kind of coloring plugins, but let's keep that to like 5 or 10% of the kind of impact that we have on the whole drums. Like, let's do the 90% of it, the main part of just the selection, the sample selection. It's just much easier. yeah. Then the other thing was how to not make a crappy snare. So snare selection and crafting, like crafting a snare. Yeah, let's go into that. Let's have a look at a vital snare. So I did get these ones from Lout a while ago. I think I made some of my own as well, but yeah, let's find just one of these kind of simple snares here. One sec. This one's pretty cool. Okay. That's nice. Super punchy, because if we take a look in the patch, we just have a sine wave, right, in this low area. It's in the kind of nice area for a snare, like between 200 and 300. Nice and punchy, you know. It sounds a bit unnatural without the noise on top, but when we put the noise back on it, you know, we fill up a lot of that spectrum. We've got our pop in the low end, we've got a bunch of noise on top. There is a nice, like, heavy synthetic snare already that would be like great foundation to like go on to sort of layer or make something a little bit more interesting with, you know, adding a little bit of a layer on top of it. Yeah, so crafting a snare. The other thing I wanted to mention about that is, you know, this is how I see the snare. This is like the fundamental, you know, what needs to be in it. It needs to have that sine wave that's punching through down there to like give those speakers that pop in the bottom, and then it needs that high end like white noise, like fizz, to get it to cut through at the same time and be heard above everything else. But then we have now like the foundation of the snare. Now it's like, how do we make it more interesting? Because it's really easy to get a good foundation for a snare, but like for me, it's always been about pushing the boundaries with DNB or music in general and production. And that's what my channel is about. Like, I do a lot of weird sound design stuff where I blend like a Snorlax into a beat, or like just trying to do things differently and weird and hope that you get some happy accidents. And yeah, just playing around, having fun and trying to make something different. So, you know, this is a great foundation for a snare, but like, let's make it more interesting now, because we don't want to hear just a bland, you know, sine wave and white noise. I mean, it works. You know, it would work really well against like a heavy chugging mid bass. But you know, I want people to like do some more weird and wacky stuff. So let's go free sound. Like, if we just think of like something that would blend well with the snare, that's like not really normal. Like, I think maybe some kind of, I want to type in like a pot or something. Something like ceramic would be quite cool if this is going to work. Or Freesound is deciding like not to load anymore. Okay, knockpot. Jesus, how slow is my internet today? Is that because I'm live streaming? Surely it shouldn't be that slow. Anyway. Play. Yeah, you know what? Scratch that. Freesound's being slow. Let's just have a see on here. Maybe we can find something on here in my sample library. There's like a pot. Home Depot. No. Rolling pot. Bear with me. No, that's from one of my sample packs. There we go. This is better. This one's pretty cool. Yeah, this is going to work just fine. See, I'm already kind of liking that one. What you could do also, something you can like, if you have a sample like this, you could use 2 different kind of parts to it, and then have 2 like versions of these layers that are very, very slightly different. And then what that's going to mean is your snare's going to have a bit more of a kind of realistic feel, because it's sort of a little bit changing. You know, we've got the main part of the snare, like the fundamental part, the sine wave and the white noise and all that good stuff, all that juicy stuff. That's like always there. It's always consistent, layering up the high with the white noise and the sine wave underneath. But then we can be more creative with our extra layer, our like character sound, and like just have a couple of different versions or something. Maybe I'll just sort of fade them in at the beginning so we kind of just don't mess with that transient of the snare. Fade them out a little bit as well. You know, that's just, you can use anything really, but just make sure it's different. Make sure it's your own. Record like yourself hitting your nan on the head with a pen, and see what she sounds like. You can just, you know, we can make it a bit more stereo. We can put like maybe instead of doing that, we'll put like a little slap delay on it instead. Yeah, let's put like a tiny like bit of reverb on it or something like that as well. Yeah, so we've got something, you know, we have our my nan rings like a bell too, mate. Don't worry about it. Alright, so we've got something different in the snare now. You know, we've got the fundamental part, the sine wave, the white noise, something else on there. Like, let's get creative with the snares, because in drum and bass as well, it's a very snare heavy genre, obviously. So it's just way better when you have a snare that just sounds like a new one that you haven't heard before, and it can be this simple, you know, just to have that basic fundamental one, and then just trying some crazy weird layer on top of it, and you know, it's just going to still cut through the mix. And just find something that sounds cool, and yeah, surprise me with your snare. Okay, so we kind of got that. So crafting a snare again. So it's not that difficult, you know. We're using pretty good synth patch here that's kind of already done for us, but you can simply make one yourself as well. And then if we move on to the next section, someone also asked, Helion, shout out, how would we turn a loop to a finished song? It's something I think people struggle with a lot, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with like write music that you would want to listen to and not feeling like you're writing it just because you have to. So that's why I'm always like a big advocate of kind of like just taking your time and really thinking a little bit deeply about you know, what kind of song you want to make and how you're going to enjoy it, like what elements you want to use. You know, have you got any friends that you can bring in? Have you got someone you can collaborate with? Have you got a kind of theme or a concept for the track? Thinking about that kind of deeper stuff more when you're deciding to write a song. That's the number one way for me to make sure that you're not just making a loop and like getting stuck with it, because you have that original concept or idea for a song and you want to make that song. You want to like use these particular sounds. You want to like convey a certain message, and so that you can make a wicked loop, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be a useless loop unless there's a story to it. So you need to be thinking about the story of the song, and it's as simple as like searching in yourself to find what really motivates you, like for a song, like what sounds you want to hear in a song, like doing it for you, not like for how you think a song should sound, or for like trying to make it as good as someone else's. Like it should be done for you, and then by doing it that way, by finding what you enjoy, what you want to hear in a song, you will like inadvertently just make better music. So yeah, it's just got to be an expression of like yourself. So yeah, with that kind of concept in mind, then let's say we do have a really cool loop, then I would be like, right, this is a wicked bass loop, this has got some wicked like drums going on as well, but now like how can I decide, like, let's make this song into a story now. Let's just use this loop, but we need to still address the issue here, which is we're making a narrative to a song. So once we have that nailed down and we have a bit of a concept in mind, then like we can reuse loads of sounds in the loop. I do this all the time. Let's say we've got like, obviously we've got like a really, really basic loop here, but I mean, already this ride, I can reuse that. I can make like a riser out of that, like a sort of crashing riser. That'd be quite nice. So if we just like echo the hell out of it. KB Noise, is Patreon, your subscription to my Patreon lapsed because you're broke at the moment? That is just not acceptable, my friend. You need to get back on there. Nah, no worries, man. No worries. Thanks for joining anyway and being a part of it. So let's see if we have. Yeah, man. Reload. We need you in the chat, mate. I need your guys' help as well, because yeah, I've kind of almost ready to release my new track, and it's quite a mega one. It's probably the best song I'm happiest with I've ever written, and yeah, I really want you guys to hear it, and I want you guys to be a part of like the release and stuff. So I'll be chatting to you about all that next week. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, let's get like infinite space. Okay. Okay, so already this one, we can it's going to bounce out the longest sample ever, right? I wonder what it sounds like at the end, actually. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but so we find the best kind of part of it that we like, and then let's bring that over here. Take it off from the original one again. Okay, we've got a kind of riser that would be like one part of many other sounds we can use in the intro to like introduce the drop, and we can do the same with a bunch of other stuff here, like these pots and pans. We can certainly like take another section of that. Let's make like a new kind of channel layer. Let's just do something weird and wacky with it. Let's take it down here. Let's put it to the beginning. You may have missed a little bit, my friend. Thank you for joining. I've talked about my 5 top tips. You can probably re-watch the video after. I'll leave it up on YouTube. But yeah, I kind of gave you some of my tips that I would go back and tell myself when I was like starting out, things that I just wish I did at the beginning. But yeah, here we're like using the crash, but we're using it in a way which, you know, before it was just a snare layer, and now I'm using the kind of bigger version of it. And then, you know, let's reverb the hell out of it. Let's like pitch it or something like that. Just kind of make it a little bit different and weird. If I go to kilohertz pitch shifter, perhaps. You know, I could just automate in. You can use any pitch shifter, you know, doesn't really matter. Yeah, I could do something like that. Then I've already like taken something from this loop, applied it somewhere else. Yeah, easy. We haven't even got a mid bass in here. We've got nothing. It's very, very simple still. We'll go on to create a bit more of this, but yeah, I was just kind of demonstrating a way that you can always use something from your loop and redesign it and do something different with it to stretch out the song. But the important thing is always you still need to have like a bit of a deeper connection to the song, because you don't want to get bored with it. You want to have something that's like that you're attached to it in a way. So I'm like, there's an exhibition on in Berlin at the moment. It's called Dark Matter, and they have these really like amazing light installations, like in the dark, all these like digital light installations, and yeah, with sound to them and stuff. And I studied sound art at university, so that kind of inspired me already a little bit. But I'm gonna go like, because I'm at the point now where I've finished my next release. I've got a collab with Manta, who I'm waiting for him to finish that like final version off. But I'm at the point now where I'm ready to like start a new song. And so for me to get inspiration, I'm gonna like go to this like sound art like exhibition. I'm just gonna go there on my own, like this week probably or next week. Take like a notepad, maybe just sit there and just like trip out a bit to all the kind of lights and all the weird stuff that's going on, and then take a notepad, you know, see what springs to mind, and like, you know, jot down some ideas, you know, how I'm feeling, like how I'm going to express myself, and like you journal a little bit, and like use that as the starting point to write like a new song. Yeah, so I'm gonna go deep with it. I'm gonna like, I don't want to make like mediocre songs. I want to like go deep in my own mind and like express myself, you know, whatever's going on in my life at the moment. I want to like get attached to it. It's not just a piece of music for me, it's like expressing myself. So I want to like, yo, what's up, Artifacts? Always wicked to have you on here, bro. Yeah, so just saying, like, I don't feel like I need to, I would get trapped in that, like how to make a loop into a song, because I'm already going to be like heavily invested in like designing a concept for a song and like expressing myself for it and being like, you know, what sounds can I use to convey this kind of feeling, you know, can I find some cool like melodies or chord changes, can I look through some like old music that I really like and like steal a chord pattern, because you know you can't create a new chord pattern because everything's already been done. You can create new sound design stuff you know, using like smashing your nan over the head with a saucepan and sampling that. But yeah, but the best way to like get good music, and it's not just a loop, is to just go a bit deeper into like thinking about how you're going to express something, and then like use that as like the motivation to like build an attachment with the song, and then you know you'll be much more likely to finish it, and you won't struggle as much to, you know, flesh out a beat, you know, and it's going to sound better because it's going to come like more from you. It's going to be more like different, more unique, and we're gonna be able to enjoy it more. Like that's when someone becomes good. You know, when we listen to our favorite producers, like I really like people like Caracal Project, Imanu, Bunshin. These guys, they have like, you know, obviously really deeply gone in on their like own kind of style, and you know, they've taken their time. They're not trying to, you know, copy someone else. They're just going like heavily in on themselves and their own kind of vibe, and that's really what we need to be doing. Is, you know, yeah, just trying to like focus on what gets you going when you're making a song, and just do that. Yeah. Sorry if I'm getting a bit too deep. Yeah, but yeah, so let's always make our snares different, you know, let's get some weird sound effects on top, and yeah, just try and surprise someone, because there's always so much like music out there. It's so saturated that you really have to like just try to do something different these days. Yeah, so that was kind of my little tip on fleshing out like a song. You know, go a bit deeper on like the concept of it, and then you can always use bits of your loop and just sound design them, put them through Portal or something. What's Artifacts saying? I've been designing sounds these past days, all within a certain feeling, because I want to do a track in that. Taking time, making sound first will make arranging easier afterwards. Yeah, 100% agree with that, brother. Yeah, so what else can I talk about? Drum synthesis, that was another question that Callie asked. And yeah, like I'm not massively good at drum synthesis, to be fair. Like I've done a couple of my own ones. I think I made like I did make a snare once. It was like a Japanese snare or something. Yeah, Japan pop snare. Oh, I've really messed this up now. Oh, I've put it on the bass. That's not very clever, is it? Duh. Yeah, if I just like copy over another vital. And just find my other pop snare. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, so again, this is kind of one that I did make, but it's like, you know, it's not like massively... you can spend ages tweaking your sine wave, like the pitch of it, the timing of it, but at the end of the day, just get a nice popping sine wave, put some white noise on, and then like let's be a bit more creative and see what else we're going to do after that. So that's with drum synthesis. Like there's loads of videos out there already. You know, it's not like super difficult to find out how to do it like well. It's just you have to kind of use your ears, and again it go back to like having the right monitoring equipment, you know, the right headphones and the right speakers to make sure you can really hear that pop is like actually sounding good and coming through and cutting through. And once we've got those fundamental like pops of the sine waves, the high end of the white noise coming through nice and crispy, then we can start thinking already a bit more creative about it. You know, how are we going to make the snare sound a bit different? So then this one I layered in like a drum sample that I recorded in Tokyo. I've talked about that before. I recorded like some samples in a museum there from like all the Japanese drums. But yeah, so I don't know, we can just roll with this one. Could be like a little background snare. And yeah, I don't really want it to be so loud, so just turn it down a bit. It's not my main snare anymore. But yeah, I like something on this offbeat, you know, on this second bar or whatever. You love synthesizing kicks, but rather do snares from layering and processing samples. Yeah. I think the thing like with that, why I would agree with that as well a little bit, is because like the kick is lower down in the spectrum, so it's like more important that it's like it lends itself better to having like a synthetic sine wave, like when you're talking about 80 or 100 or something for a kick. So I'm thinking, yeah, like I would always like just go for a synth kind of kick and then layer it up if I want. Or, you know, the sample has already been made like using synthesis, so it's not like we have to use a synth. We can use a sample that already has, you know, crafted the kick drum properly, so it does have a like punchy fat sine wave down there. And yeah, like the lower down with a kick, I think it's like a bit more important. And then when you get up to like the snare area, although it's still kind of like a poppy sine wave, it's a bit like less. It can be a bit like less of a sine wave, I suppose. So yeah, I think using snare samples like a bit more than kick samples, I think, is probably a good shout. Yeah, I talked about layering snares, but I'm using one snare that's just doing the job. It's doing the job already. It's nothing spectacular. It's a nice punchy sine wave with a bunch of white noise to help it cut through. You know, if I could design a whole song around that one snare and like just get my mid bass like to be massive and just to really like complement that snare specifically, and then have this like huge contrast where they kind of just like really work with each other and they like are dynamic with each other, and I could make that snare pop like by using what it's contrasting with, you know, the mid bass, by focusing on that and getting the balance between those right. Yeah, I could do that. So I can think about more of the mix down in general and how I'm going to fit everything around the snare. But yeah, I would prefer to like mess around a bit and, you know, put like a crashing pot or pan on top of it just to like make it like a bit different and try and, you know, push things in a bit of a different direction. Snare design via FM. Yeah, could work as well. I think you could maybe create some more interesting textures with FM. It's always like you're going to get some more cool sounds, but again, you still like, you know, that basic sine wave and white noise element to the snare is something that's just always going to be there, because that's just kind of the basics of sound that just work from a speaker, you know. Yeah, let's see what we had. Another question, I think I answered most of the questions already. The last one was, why am I such a nice guy? Well, I'm not actually. I'm just not a nice guy, really. Nah, just kidding. But I actually had a question for you, which is how to get. How can we do like a Q&A, like where people can like pop in? Because I've seen other people like on YouTube where you set up like the camera so someone else can like join. So that would be like sick. I'd love to do that. I'd love to sort of host like a little like just production chat, and people can just come on and like ask questions, like rather than like being just in the chat, like you can actually have your face like and like ask some stuff. So if anyone knows like how I can set that up without me having to YouTube the answer, that'll be sweet. But yeah, that's kind of like, if you guys have just joined on, I kind of like answered most of the questions already that I got asked. So feel free to ask some more, because I'll be on for like another 20 minutes or so. And until you ask something else, I'm just gonna produce some more. And let's get a bit more of a vibe going on this. Let's get a mid bass going. So I would say, let's slam open another Vital. Cheers, man. Yeah, you can do it through Discord, right? I wonder if the quality would be alright on that, or maybe I can do it through Zoom or something. I'd love to have you on as well, Artifacts. We said we'd do like a little like joint tutorial or something. I'd love to just have like a conversation with you about, you know, we could ask each other, come up with like a bunch of questions for each other and just like have a bit of a chat for like 30 minutes or something. Maybe some of the other folks will like learn something, or we can explain something in a particular way that like suddenly clicks with someone then. Because yeah, at the end of the day, like I've also found like from sharing my knowledge of, you know, however limited that is, of music production, I just get better, and then people like share more stuff back with me. So I think when we're kind of always like sharing our knowledge together, it's just, you just all improve, and then we can just become more like better than techno producers, because that's the goal at the end of the day, to make DNB more popular than techno. At least that's my ambition. Kind of kidding. Yeah. So this is just great fun for me. This synth, like, it would be better if I had a MIDI keyboard at this point. But it's in the post, I think. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, actually. Let's, like, how I would really like to build a song from the ground up. Yeah, this is obviously the sub here. Best way to sidechain? For me, 2 ways. Number 1, LFO tool to just dip out the volume automation, you know. I think you can sidechain this plugin, but I never do it, or I never got it to work, but I just do it to the grid and like take out the volume on the sub, like whenever the kick's hitting. So if I do it quickly on this one, let's like get a sidechain on the kick. So we have like, put it to 1 bar, and then that's my first kick is there. And the second one is like here. This is one way, by the way. I'm going to show you the other way, which is almost better, I think. But, yeah. Only works, really, if it's like a... Yeah, no worries, man. We'll Artifacts, we'll do it at some point. Yeah, so that has already like cleared up the space for the sub there. The reason why I can do this on this one, and I don't mind taking out the whole volume, is because the sub is literally only my sub is only like operating in this area, and that is exactly the part that's clashing with the kick. So I do kind of just want to take all of it out. So that's why I'm happy to just do a whole volume automation, like on the whole like sub. And this is like quite clinical, you know. Maybe let's go to like 90. Yeah, so I'm really separating things, you know. I'm really being like, you Mr. Sub, you fuck off, all right? The kick is coming through this part. You're not allowed in. Right, you stay at home, behave. Yeah, get your sub to behave. Otherwise, it's just gonna be chaos. Okay, and the other way, something I would do maybe more on the mid bass. Like this one is just absolutely delicious of a sound. Let me show you how good you can make a bass without doing anything, right? Unison. 3. This sounds terrible. Okay, unison is on. Advanced tab. Change this here to a minor chord, maybe. Or that one, harmonics, maybe. Then, effects, chorus. Okay, it's done. Let's try the other modes quickly. No, I quite like that one. Let's try like, okay, next thing, easy, sine wave as well. All right. Frequency modulate into here. Turn it down in pitch. Why is it not doing anything? Oh, it's too low. Oh, I've chosen the wrong thing, that's why. Sorry. Yeah, let's fry the YouTube algorithm. That's fantastic. I love that. I love that. All right. Okay, it's pretty mad. Let's distort the hell out of it. All right, now let's like extend our loop out, and let's get this crash pot and pound thing that I made. Yeah, just bounce that one out. Let's just like put that into the vital patch as well. Show in Finder. Okay, is that the one? Yeah. This is not. I'm not doing this very effectively. Where's my vital gone again? Here it is. Okay. All right, let's drag that on to the sample here. Drag one in here as well, just in case. I might use that. Okay, now I've got it in my vital patch as well. Pretty nasty. Art of facts. Yeah, look at this nice little texture. So it's like at the start. That's pretty cool. We'll just go through a couple of these effects here. Sorry, distortion modes. I like that. Yeah, look at that. You know, simple stuff. Anyway. I'll tell you what I like doing. Use the compressor on it to bring out the high end like after everything. Yeah, there we go. Let's get that on the LFO as well, the mix. You know, it's a matter of time before I start just playing with Vital and making you watch me do that. But if you rewatch the stream, you can hear the kind of main tips that I went over earlier. But by the way, also while I've got you here, I obviously share loads of stuff for nothing, for free. So if you ever want to support, my website link is below. You can get presets. You can get a cool artifact cap for like €25. Or shameless plug, sorry about this. Or some lovely artifact t-shirts as well for €20. Everything comes with free stickers as well, so that's pretty cool. And join Patreon in Discord and meet all these other beautiful people and talk to them as well if you want to support. That's only like €5 per month to get in the Discord. All helps me keep doing what I do. Yeah. So anyway, this is pretty nice at this point. One more filter that I really love, that phaser filter. Let's get that in there somewhere. I'll just put it on everything here. Have a little bit of modulation on it. And again, like if I just give you another kind of tip with like the over processing. Because what I used to like add on like 20 or 30 plugins and like just go down this rabbit hole of trying to like improve the sound. I think now, like especially with this plugin, it's way easier to get those articulations or the sound design, you know, already sounding good from the beginning, and then, you know, bounce it out and feel free to process it some more. Make different layers though, and but yeah, like the one thing I used to do all the time was like over process stuff too much and not just use the right sounds from the beginning. So get a bit more in, go a bit deeper on your sample selection and your synthesis like design, and like just try to like really immerse yourself in the beginning process of choosing the right sound for the song, and then, you know, everything else just becomes easier. That's pretty cool. A bit more kind of movement in the mid-range around here then. Yeah, that's pretty cool bass at that point. Obviously the pattern is like a little bit like boring still, but yeah, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the other side chaining technique. So yeah, for this one, obviously again, like we're talking about everything in it has its own place, right? So my new bass I've made, it's got a sub in it, you know, because I like to design stuff with the sub in sometimes, but I've got a sub already, so we're gonna have to take that out. To blend it with our original sub. Okay. Okay, and then, yeah, to sidechain this, if we see it's still, we still got low end in it, and we probably have to take a bit more of that out later. See what, why not do it now? Okay, a bit cleaner there. Also look, a big hole here. Kind of missing a bit of that kind of high, mid-range, low treble area. So I'll tell you what we'll do for that is we could layer in a new oscillator here, but because I'm being lazy, I'm just going to add an EQ. I'm just going to like kind of boost that area. So let's just boost that. It's about the sort of this kind of area here, I think. You know, to make it a bit more expressive, we could also put that on the LFO. Or maybe we start with it up and go down. Try that as well. Okay. Little bit fuller now. If we take another look at that again. Kind of feel that hole a little bit better. Yeah, so the side chaining. For something like this, obviously we got to sort of side chain it to the kick and the snare, because our kick at like 100 or something is clashing. Our snare is definitely clashing around here. But if we just do like a quick one on the kick, the one I love to use, which it's just a multi-band dynamic EQ. It's the F6 from Waves, but like you don't need to use this one. You can use the TDR Nova, which is free, I believe. I've never used it because I've got this, but yeah, I just tell people to use that, and people still get the same result. So just use the TDR Nova if you don't want to pay for a new plugin. It's just going to be absolutely fine still. Yeah, so then the way that I would do this with sidechaining the kick and stuff, deep drums, kick, yeah. If we go back to 0 here. That's it. Done. Do the same on the snare as well. Up here at 200 or 250, wherever it is. And that means that we're just sidechaining the treble areas on this mid bass. You know, before I didn't mind taking out the whole volume of the sub with the LFO tool because, you know, the sub is only at this. It's only this low end, and I need all of that out. So I'm just going to take the whole volume down. But yeah, it's nice and clinical. But yeah, with this mid bass, like I kind of want a bit of that high end still in. I don't want to lose like the volume of all of the sound because like I want the kick to be like punching through the low end, and the mid bass low end comes out for that. But the mid bass high end like still stays in, so we can still have like that full track like kind of feeling, even though we're sidechaining it. So that's why a multi-band dynamic one like this is great for that. You know, and this is so simple what I've done, but like I'm just making sure all the elements are kind of right. You know, and already like in the space of what, an hour, we've filled out like a lot of the spectrum. We haven't like layered the kick. We haven't layered a snare other than a little cool like effect on top of it. We've just got one sub, we've just got one mid bass, and it already sounds like pretty nice, to be fair. Sounds like pretty nice and full. So then, yeah, at this point, like obviously we've got a loop, haven't we? And we want to like, how do we turn a loop into a song? You know, so at this point, I'm doing this for demonstration purposes to like teach you guys something. But like when it was me, you know, I'm gonna go back to my journal or my notes, and I'm gonna like, you know, have my song ready, planned in my head a little bit, and then I'm gonna just like go to work on it in my own way and like make it a whole kind of experience, light the candles and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I wouldn't be able to just like personally like feel invested enough to just finish a loop like for no reason. I need something more. But yeah, thanks for joining, Chris. Thanks for your wicked input in the Discord as well, which kind of inspired this live stream quite a lot. So yeah, cheers for that, man. Yeah, see you soon. And yeah, if we just go for like another 5 minutes or so, then I need the toilet. So what else could we add? We can always have a look at the spectrum as well. We can have a look. You know, we filled out quite a lot already. Got more space in the kind of mid-range, or the kind of like some percussive stuff around here could be cool. Also, like, let's boost things on the master as well and see what happens. Yeah, man, nice to have you on again, Artifacts, and yeah, good luck with your production. Thanks for tuning in, bruv. Really appreciate that. And yeah, let's chat soon about a collab or a video or something like that, bro. So there's a kind of a gap in this area here. You kind of see it here. There's like a bit of a dip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost that dip. I'm just going to listen like what sounds good. Hey Jonathan, big ups for joining. I'm literally going to finish in a couple of minutes. So yeah, but you can rewatch the stream as well. But yeah, kind of boosting this area, thinking like, oh, what sounds good up here? I think I would go create like a mid-bass layer or something. Like, let's try that. If we bounce it out, create something weird to go like on top of the mid-bass. So let's like pitch it. Let's pitch it up. And I want that like kind of 1K area to be like the main sort of part of this sound. That's pretty cool. If I then go on to add like a bit of a stereo ping pong on it as well. blend that mix in a bit. Like we're making a sort of another tone to go into it. Detune it a bit. Then what we'll do, just to make it a bit more interesting, we'll put a different groove on it, so we'll just LFO tool it a bit. It's quite good on the 8ths already, wasn't it? I like that. And then let's reverb it a bit as well, because it's a kind of layer, little princess layer on top of the bass. I don't mind reverbing that. Also, a lot of you guys on here already do one-on-one sessions with me, but if you are interested in having like a one-on-one, just send me a message, info@artifactmusic.com, my email, and we can plan that. Yeah, just to finish off then, what I would do then, let's EQ out that kind of low end, because I just wanted that like 1k up. It's pretty nice. I think the reverb is a bit heavy there. Yeah, I've kind of made something cool using a part of the mid bass and just sort of affecting it and pitching it and stuff. Obviously the pattern is a little bit simple. Yeah, it could make it a little bit more interesting like that. But yeah, you kind of get the gist, you know. Again, like I said, this is a loop. It's pretty cool. There's some cool stuff. I just wanted to talk about a few mixing tips and things like that, and you know, fitting things in the right area and that kind of stuff. But I really urge you just to go like absolutely mental with your sounds, and like really just try different things, because you know it's always going to be more enjoyable for someone else to hear like something that's a bit wacky and a bit crazy. And if you can make it work, like focus on using the fundamental, getting the fundamentals right, and making sure everything is in its own place, everything is sidechained properly, and use sine waves and white noise because they are the best kind of sounds to use in the low end and in the high end. And then everything in between, like once you've got the fundamentals down, like just go a bit wild with it and try and get a bit more, try and go a bit deeper into like what inspires you and what you think sounds good, and express like that, because that is how you write better music. It has to come like from yourself, otherwise you can just tell it's like not authentic. You can hear it's not like an authentically like different or good song. So just try to take that on board, and yes, just surprise me with some wicked awesome new track that just feels fresh and like you, and then I'll play that one out, because that will be like a lot more inspiring and different. But yeah, I'm gonna jump off, and I'm gonna go down to this art exhibition weird place this week, and just like spend some time, do a bit of journaling, and come up with an idea for like a new track. And yeah, next week I'm going to release like my new song as well, because that's pretty much finished, just doing the mastering for that. So yeah, I really can't wait for you guys to hear it, because it's a banger, if I do say so myself. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, then have a wicked evening, guys. I hope you enjoyed and learned a little bit from the live stream, and yeah, we'll speak soon. Ciao.